Part 25. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 241. Wang Zhejian took advantage of him. Ding Xia cried, he is a scoundrel. If it weren't for the 2 children, I would have stopped living with him. In the past, Yang Sisi would definitely have persuaded her to leave Wang Zhejian, but what the old lady said was like Tang Monk's curse on Sun Wukong, tightly binding her brain, and she was wary of Ding Xia. And everyone has his own destiny. Helping others is a disguised form of carrying the fate of others and consuming one's own blessings. It's thankless. This time, she chose to keep her mouth shut. Seeing that Yang Sisi hadn't spoken to her for a long time, Ding Xia knew that she couldn't borrow the money. She gently wiped her tears and said, I've made you laugh. There are a lot of things waiting for me to do at home, so I won't talk to you today. Chatted. Sisi should persuade him to stay and eat. No. The old lady said, Sisi, I steamed some brown rice in the kitchen for you, Sister Xiaxia, to eat on the road. Oh, okay. Yang Sisi went into the kitchen and took out a bowl of brown rice on a banana leaf and handed it to Ding Xia. Ding Xia drank porridge early in the morning and hurriedly traveled dozens of miles to get here. She was already hungry, so naturally she would not refuse if she had something to eat. Thank you. She took it and walked to the door. You're welcome. Yang Sisi watched her go away and returned to the hospital. Anai, Sister Xiaxia is having a hard time. She traveled dozens of miles just for a few dollars. Otherwise, I'd better lend it to her. Girl, the poverty hole is not enough. You can help me for a while, but can you help me for the rest of my life? Those who are close to red are red and those who are close to ink are black. Sleeping on the same bed as someone like Wang Zhejian, if things go on like this for a long time, it is difficult not to suspect that she has been led astray. 3 or 5 yuan this time, 10 or 20 next time. If they don't agree once, their previous efforts will be nullified. I have met too many people like this, and I have suffered losses like this myself. I don't want you and me to stumble on the same thing. She thought for a while and then said, if you have the skills, such as recognizing a few more words, you can be a college student by giving speeches at banquets. If you can't keep up with your thinking when you go to college, what should you do if you have relationship problems? I'm really worried for you. The wife's tone was full of worry. Men and women are attracted to each other. Appearance and character are only the basis, talent is the most important. There must be equal understanding, so that the relationship can last for a long time. Yang Sisi listened to the advice. Oh, it's a little hot to wear a cotton padded jacket now. I'll go put on the singlet you made. The old lady went into the house and touched the material of the new coat. When she came out, it's warm, just what I like. Your hair growth cream is like it's not easy to sell, but I can definitely sell clothes. It takes a lot of effort to make clothes one stitch at a time. My needlework is slow, so I can make one piece in a day or two. It's not a brand name, and the price can't be sold. I can only earn 2 or 3 yuan per piece. Hair growth cream is not same. If it works, I can earn at least 800 to 900 yuan a month. I have thick and dark hair, so everyone says I use this to wash it, so I don't have to worry about sales. Really? 8 or 900 a month, not tens of thousands a year? That's great. The old lady was happy for Yang Sisi again. As long as you have money. What is talent or not? This one doesn't work anymore. Let's spend money to buy a better one than this one. At this time, Qin Yancy came back from chopping firewood and said, daughter-in-law, are you picking flowers now? Let's finish eating. Yang Sisi said. Qin Yancy was not used to eating brown rice, so he only ate one bowl and then put down his chopsticks. Yang Sisi went into the kitchen and brought out the flatbread and beef sauce prepared for him. Add some of this. The old lady curled her lips and said, I even turned on a small stove for him. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 242. I can't bear to let ACI suffer even a little bit of grievance. Qin Yancy finally understood the complete sentence and smiled knowingly. You can eat too. I'm full. Yang Sisi prepared the picking tools. Waiting for Qin Yancy to finish eating, the two of them went up the mountain to look for Yu Xiang. Soon, I saw one. Yang Sisi stepped forward and sniffed. It smells good. Daughter-in-law, do you really think this smells good? Why do I think it's more pungent than Chinese medicine? Qin Yancy was so smoked that he felt dizzy. Yang Sisi was puzzled, but it smells good to me. Put this under the pillow to prevent dreams. We call it dream flower here. I can't smell it. Qin Yancy felt that the smell did not need to be purified, but rather diluted. Daughter-in-law, you pick it yourself. I'll see if I can find something else to pick. Well, don't go too far out of my sight. If you get lost, it will be difficult to get out, Yang Sisi said. Teach me the direction. After Yang Sisi thought about it, she pointed in the direction with her little hand. Did you see the finger-like mountain peak in front of you? That is due south. Looking at the mountain, you can go down to the foot of the mountain. When you come down, you can see a nice house. It's a small courtyard. The location of her courtyard is unique. No matter which hill you come down from, you can see her home. Qin Yancy nodded. Okay. He left. Yang Sisi picked a basket and called out Qin Yan's words twice, but received no response. She walked forward and found a four-season osman thus full of small yellow flowers. The naughty incense smells unpleasant. This should smell good, right? She took off her coat, spread it on the floor, filled it with sweet-scented osman thus, and then shouted Qin Yan's farewell. After a while, Qin Yancy appeared with a basket. Daughter-in-law, look. Yang Sisi glanced at the basket of polyporus and gave a thumbs up in admiration. You are so awesome. You are a newbie and you can find so many pigsling. Something like this is hard to come by. Because I'm familiar with this place and have encountered it before, I looked for it based on its approximate location. Qin Yancy couldn't stand the praise and raised his lips. Maybe I'm lucky. Take a look at this again. Yang Sisi turned her gaze away and saw three small mushroom-like Ganoderma lucidum. She was surprised and said, I ran 10 times and it would be great if I could pick up one. You actually picked up 3. Make soup later and put it in to replenish it. Yet Qin Yancy felt the joy of hunting for mountain goods. Come back tomorrow. Okay, just pick some other fragrant flowers. Back to the small courtyard. Qin Yancy purified the osman thus, poured it into the hair growth ointment and boiled it over high fire. The fragrance filled the air, attracting the old lady's attention. It smells so good. If we had such a fragrant shampoo at that time, I don't know how many young men would be fascinated by it. Yang Sisi said, what shampoo did you use at that time? Where is the shampoo? It's the same as in the village. If you're in a good condition, you'll use soap. If you're in a bad condition, you'll use plant ash and rice water. If you're sloppy, just wear an eyebrow brace to prevent oil from dripping down. Real or false, isn't that a person who is wearing windproof during confinement? If you don't wash your hair during confinement, isn't it anti-hair oil? The old lady couldn't wait for the hair growth cream to cool down, so she boiled water to wash her hair. She took a little bit and spread it in the palm of her hand and spread it on her head. Sci, there isn't a lot of foam. It turned out that when I looked at the shampoo of the village chief's wife, there was a lot of foam. Qin Yancy thought for a moment. I know a foaming chemical that can be added to shampoos bought in the mall. Let's go to the city again tomorrow and buy some and add it in proportion to try. Yang Sisi, okay. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash Marriage of the Era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 243. The old lady washed her hair, wring it dry and let Ying Sisi smell it. It's very fragrant. Ying Sisi took out the incense stick and said, "ACI, this." Qin Yanci felt sick as soon as he smelled the smell. "Daughter-in-law, take it further away." Okay. Ying Sisi put it at the door to dry, planning to follow Qin Yanci to learn how to purify it, and then go to the new house to get it. The old lady took 2 flowers and put them under her pillow. She has been dreaming about them for a while. Last night, she even dreamed that after Xian died, she turned into a ghost and hid in the ox horn comb. For the first 20 years, she looked at Sisi and shed tears every day. "I cried every day for 10 years looking at Shen Yushan." Thinking of this, she said, "Sisi, did you keep the horn comb and badge that I asked who's hiking to send to you, or did you return them to your father later? Give him back." The old lady's heart was beating wildly. Could the dream be true? "What are you doing for him?" "That's what your mother left for you to think about." "But he gave it to my mother." "I don't want it, but I have a photo of my mother." Ying Sisi repeated what she knew. The old lady sighed. Sisters like this on the stall are also unlucky. Poor Xiao Shen, his wife is gone, and his daughter does not recognize him. "Stop talking." Ying Sisi was not happy to hear it. "He is pitiful." "Isn't my mother pitiful? Isn't she pitiful?" Okay, I won't say anything anymore." The old lady lifted her hair and smelled it. It smelled good. She observed Qin Yanci again. This boy was really quite capable. Sisi in the dream had no one around to help her when doing business, and every step was extremely difficult. With him in reality, there should be less twists and turns, right? Ying Sisi snorted and called Qin Yanci to wash her hair too. "ACI, I'll wash it for you." Okay. Qin Yanci couldn't get what he asked for. Ying Sisi mixed some water and put it on the stone platform in the courtyard. Qin Yanci took off his coat and lowered his head. Ying Sisi poured some water on his head, put some hair growth ointment on his head, and gently scratched his scalp. Qin Yanci was tickled by her. "Daughter-in-law, is it okay tonight?" What can it be? Ying Sisi was at a loss for a second, then she came to her senses. "Anai Juqian, it would be bad to wake her up. There is a thatched cottage in the field not far ahead, we can go there." "Ying Sisi, what should I do if I meet people from the village?" "Your ears are so sensitive, why don't we leave early if there is someone?" Qin Yanci said. "Who would care to listen to the outside world at that time?" Ying Sisi disagreed. "Let's wait until we return to Yanjing. The good news will not flow to outsiders." Qin Yanci, what is the purpose of keeping the fertilizer and water from flowing to outsiders' fields? In the next few days, the two of them devoted themselves to researching hair growth cream. Xiequilin's third daughter came here during this period and tried to put in a good word for her parents. After being beaten with a stick by Ying Sisi, she did not dare to show up again. This day, Ying Sisi is packing her luggage at home. Ding Xia came to the door again. Ying Sisi thought she was here to say goodbye, so he brought out a stool and invited her to sit down. He also made scented tea and gave her hair growth cream. Ding Xia was not interested in drinking tea or hair growth cream. After exchanging pleasantries, she explained her purpose. "Sisi, I'm really in trouble this time. You must help me." "You said, if I can help, I will definitely help," Ying Sisi said loyally. "You must be able to help. My boss is sick and he borrowed 5 yuan for medical treatment. He asked me to pay it back within 10 days. You should go back, right? Can you send it to me after you return to Yanjing?" Ying Sisi, I have to borrow money from her. She thought thoughtfully. "Yes, but I need Polygonum multiflorum. Can you dig 10 kilograms of it and give it to me? 5 yuan is just a reward. I don't want you to pay it back." Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 244. When Ding Xia heard this, it was a good thing. Okay, my backyard is full of them. I dug 2 of them when I was digging a drainage ditch a few days ago. I don't know where they went for the children to play with. Really, if you dig more, I'll give you 50 cents a pound. Ding Xia's expression flashed and she said, "You've been here for so many days, aren't you just here to collect mountain goods to sell?" Yang Sisi didn't dare to talk about the business in detail, so she said carefully, "I'm going to the city now, so I won't do that. My partner is interested in studying medicine. My father-in-law has a little hair. He found out that Polygonum multiflorum can grow black hair. It happens to be easy to find here in the mountains, so we are making shampoo here. Now, this is the bottle for you. We plan to leave tomorrow. No more days." "No," Yang Sisi said, "you've got the things ready and sent them over." Ding Xia bit her lip. "It costs money to send a package." Yang Sisi asked the old lady how much it cost to send a package back last time. "Within 10 kilograms, no matter the size, it will be $1.50. I will give it to Xiaxia." The old lady heard Ding Xia's words clearly in the room, took out the scattered bills from the handkerchief, and handed them to Ding Xia. She said meaningfully, "I gave you the money, don't forget what you promised." "Hey," Ding Xia assured, patting her chest. After getting the money, she had a smile on her face. "Grandma Zhu, now that Sisi is gone, you are alone again. Earlier, an old man from the next village wanted to go with us. Why did you refuse? When we arrived at his house, there was it's great to have children. Those are not my children, so what are they? I will have someone to rely on when I get old. I'm next to Sisi. When I kick off my legs, I'll give this room to her, although she may not appreciate it." The old lady smiled. "Her house has a great view. When she bought it from the previous owner, she spent 10 oceans. Ding Xia said disdainfully, "Sisi lives in the city and has a family, so how can I care about you?" The old lady smiled and said nothing. Why didn't she care? Sisi wants to take her away. Ding Xia didn't stay long after getting the money, so she found an excuse to leave. As soon as the person leaves, Yang Sisi returned the money advanced to the old lady to her. The old lady was not polite, took it and put it in her pocket, then packed her luggage, locked the doors and windows after dark, and walked to the city with Yang Sisi and her husband. After walking for a while, she was so tired that she was out of breath. "I'm getting older, and I get tired after walking a little bit." Yang Sisi said, "We have said in the banquet speech that we will leave in a bullock cart tomorrow. You must agree. That will alarm a lot of people, and others will talk about you." I left without saying a word. Even if the people in the village find out that I am not at home, they will think that I ran away with some wild old man. Instead of thinking about you, we neighbors, although we don't visit each other, we don't have any contact at all. If your uncle knows about it, he will inevitably spread bad things about you." The old lady put herself in Sisi's shoes. "I don't care." Yang Sisi didn't care. "After all, he is your mother's brother. When talking about you, you are not allowed to mention your mother. Although it is said that the clean will self-clean, but the bad words have been spread too much and no one has explained it, so it has become true." The old lady said, "Wait for you if you have the ability in the future, move your mother's tomb. She definitely doesn't want to stay here. But she wants to be with Shen Yushan. After all, before his death, Baba was looking forward to him." She didn't say the rest. Yang Sisi had already planned this. Yet, the 3 of them arrived in the county town early in the morning, found a guest house to rest until dawn, and then went to the train station to check in and board the train. Please vote. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 245. After traveling all night and getting up early, Yang Sisi found her bunk and lay down to rest. "ACI, would you like to take a nap?" "I'm not sleepy yet." Qin Yanxi said he was not sleepy at all. Today is 29, and in another day, the impostor will come out again to disturb his wife. He must find a way. The old lady's bunk was opposite Qin Yanxi and Yang Sisi. She happened to see his expression and felt faintly uneasy. This child was good at everything, but he was often gloomy and had a murderous aura about him. Sisi is also very courageous. "Aren't you afraid?" Yang Sisi woke up and there was a young woman in the partition. The old lady lived in the upper bunk, holding a book in her hand, but looking across the way. Peep a peek at Qin's banquet speech. The young woman noticed Yang Sisi's gaze and smiled at her sheepishly. "Girl, are you taking a ride alone? Where are you going?" "Go to Yanjing with my partner and grandma." The young woman was surprised for a moment. "How old are you? You already have a partner." "Where is the partner?" Yang Sisi pointed to the upper bunk and said, "The person sleeping on your lower bunk is my grandma." The young woman suddenly felt extremely embarrassed. "Oh, I am also going to Yanjing. We are just on the way." "Are you visiting relatives or where are you studying in university?" "Go back to your husband's house." Yang Sisi got up and went to the toilet. When passing by the young woman, the other party said, "I smelled the fragrance of Osman thus just now when I came in. I thought it was coming from the 4 seasons of Osman thus blooming outside the window. It seems to be coming from you." "Well, I used the osmanthus flavored shampoo." Yang Sisi left. When returning, the young woman continued, "Where did you buy your shampoo? Why haven't I seen anyone selling osmanthus flavored shampoo? What does it look like? How much does it cost? Can you take a look?" "Okay." Yang Sisi took out the plastic jar containing the shampoo. "I asked a friend to buy it from outside. It costs 1.5 yuan per jar." The young woman was shocked. "It's so expensive." "I use a hair growing shampoo, and it is said that many precious medicinal materials are added to it. My grandma has been using it. She is almost 70 years old, but she still has so much hair and fewer gray hairs than her peers." The old lady woke up at this time and looked at Yang Sisi with a smile as she talked nonsense. The young woman took a look and found that it was indeed the case. Including the outstanding-looking young man, he also has thick black hair. Smooth and slippery, with clear roots. It's not like her hair, which is not only sparse, but also clumps after clumps. No matter how well dressed you are, if your hair is not straightened, it will not improve your image. She picked up the jar and said, "Why is there no label? Can you open it and take a look?" "It wasn't available when you gave it to me." Yang Sisi opened the shampoo. It was a brown paste, and the faint scent of Osman thus wafted out from it, refreshing her heart and mind. The young woman only thought it smelled good and hesitated for a long time. "Can you resell it to me? I'm willing to pay an extra 2 cents. This Yang Sisi was reluctant on the face, but secretly happy on the inside. She didn't even open her mouth, and the other party was interested in buying it. "Resell you and let people know about it? Don't say I'm a speculator. How can it be possible?" Yang Sisi encouraged her. "Well, you don't need to pay more. I will buy it for you and sell it to you for whatever price you pay." The young woman thanked her, paid for it, picked up the thermos bottle on the side, and brought the towel and shampoo to go to the bathroom to wash her hair. Yang Sisi happily counted the money. She originally planned to sell a can for 1 yuan, but now it is also sold for 1.5 yuan. Can't you easily earn more than 1,000 yuan a month in the future? Hey. Qin Yanxi's eyes were always on Yang Sisi. When he saw this, he teased, money obsessed. She really dared to ask for it. She spent money to buy these materials, and the cost would not exceed 50 cents. It could be resold several times. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 246. Yang Cixi smiled and said in a low voice, "Now that my income is stable, we will also hire an aunt to do housework. This will free up her time to read more books, have more knowledge and become more knowledgeable. Better know how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages." Yes, Jean Yancy was very supportive. The girl came back from washing her hair and said with satisfaction, "It's very foamy and has a light smell. It's very good." As soon as I finished washing my hair, someone asked me where I bought the shampoo. Yang Cixi responded as if she was familiar with him, "I only agreed to resell you because you were in love with me. I wouldn't dare to sell it to other people." "Hey, which district of Yanjing do you live in?" "Dongcheng district," Yang Cixi said. "What about you?" "From the South district. I heard that Dongcheng district is full of wealthy people. Are your family conditions particularly good?" "No matter how rich the place is, there are also poor people. I happen to be the poor one. We live on the edge of Dongcheng district." "Do you know Tongzilu?" "You know, a corridor has rooms on both sides, and the corridor is like a cylinder. Everyone's pots and pans are placed outside. If you are not careful when walking, you will bump into the Zhang family's pots and the Li family's stoves." Yang Cixi nodded, "Yes. You are visiting relatives or going to school?" Judging from the accent, she is from the south. "I am a student at Yanjing Normal University. I will go back to my hometown to visit the tombs during the Qingming festival. Let's leave each other's contact information. I'll run out of shampoo, so I can ask you to bring it to me." "So you are a college student, okay." Yang Cixi had a natural affinity for scholars, thinking that they were knowledgeable, well-informed, and of high overall quality, so she readily agreed and left the address of the new house to the other party. "My name is Yang Cixi, and what about you?" "Chen Yan, Dongcheng." Colorful Chen Yan took the note from Yang Cixi and also wrote his own address. Yang Cixi briefly understood Chen Yan's situation through conversations with him. "The university I just entered last year. Both parents work in the supply and marketing cooperative in the countryside." "I've said so much. What about you? What do your parents do?" "My mother passed away a long time ago, and now only my grandma is around. I can't tell you what my parents-in-law do specifically." Yang Cixi didn't understand the other party, so she couldn't tell her. He dared to tell the truth, but in order to appear ignorant, he called Qin Yancy, "ACI, what are our parents doing?" Qin Yancy turned his head and ignored him. If his daughter-in-law intends to hide it, he cannot tell her. Yang Cixi used laughter to cover up the slightly stagnant atmosphere, and added, "It is also a management." Oh, Chen Yan thought Qin Yancy was angry, so he changed the subject with great discernment. "Are you used to eating in Yanjing?" "Well, I'm used to it." The two chatted along the way, and Yang Cixi learned a lot of interesting things about the campus. She also learned that students bought bus tickets at half price. She regretted that she had never been to school. After 10:30 p.m., the train arrived in Yanjing. Both parties got off the bus together, and when they arrived at the exit, they said hello and left. It was too late to stop the car. The three of them walked back. The old lady's feet hurt when she walked. "Fortunately, my parents didn't bind my feet back then, otherwise my feet would have been rotten these days." Yang Cixi smiled and said, "We'll be there in a moment. Come to a Ci's house first, and I'll take you to your new house tomorrow. Anything is fine." The old lady is not picky. "Si, are you free to show me around tomorrow? I haven't been here for decades, and many places have changed." She wanted to get to know her again. "Okay, what I have most is time." Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 247. Qin Yan said, "I'm going back to the courtyard tomorrow, maybe I'll stay there." Can I come with you? I'll stay with grandma during the day and you at night, Yang Sisi said. The old lady tooted, I'm not ashamed either. No wonder she took advantage of Qin Yancy. If it were her, no one could resist the beautiful daughter-in-law's soft words to accompany her. Yang Sisi, the companionship I said is not what you think. At such an old age, I still think about things all day long. Hey you girl. You're not big or small, the old lady kicked her. Yang Sisi laughed and avoided it, holding Qin Yancy's hand. ACI, is that okay? Qin Yancy lowered his eyes to look at her. He didn't want to go back to the courtyard, but he had no choice. He had to tell the impostor what he had experienced these days, otherwise he would make mistakes and cause unnecessary trouble for himself. He said, I have something to discuss with Lao Qin. Yang Sisi was a little disappointed. She was still thinking about being gentle with him. Haven't he always been thinking about that? It's convenient now, why do we have to live separately? I really can't understand him. Okay, she said. The two of them walked in front, followed by the old lady. After a while, she said, Sisi, are you hungry? I am a little hungry. Can you still find a noodle shop now? It's not far. I'll cook you some noodles when I get home. Can we still light a fire at home at this point? Yang Sisi, you can borrow charcoal from a neighbor's house with the light on. That's okay. After arriving home, Qin Yancy went downstairs to borrow the charcoal fire, and Yang Sisi prepared the ingredients. Grandma, there is no food at home. Can we eat boiled noodles with some spicy sauce? Okay. It would be nice to have some noodles to eat. The old lady was very satisfied and looked around. The environment here is really good. Is the TV on the cabinet in the room a dowry from your stepfather? I think too much, these are all prepared by ACI's family. Just come up with someone. Well, that's not the case. There is a wardrobe in the old house of ACI's family that was bought by my stepfather, but he received many gifts from ACI's family and made a lot of money from me. There is a 28-inch bumper downstairs that I bought. I will use it as a companion to ACI. The little white car next to me was given to me by my father-in-law. Yang Sisi pointed to the bicycle parked under the shed outside. The old lady stretched her head and looked in the direction Yang Sisi pointed. If you didn't tell me downstairs just now, how can I see clearly now? When you got married, your father-in-law didn't give you a car, but he gave it to you after the wedding. Seems to come to mind. Because after I married ACI was admitted to Yenching University. The old lady joked, it's like he won't be able to pass the exam if you don't get married. That's what you said. It couldn't be from him, right? Yang Sisi doubted Shen Yushan. The old lady realized that she had said something wrong and quickly came back. He? Your biological father? He only has a baby. Can he give you a big car as a gift? Yang Sisi's doubts were dispelled. What you said makes sense. He said he would compensate me. She stopped and said, why are you mentioning him again? The old lady cleared her throat dryly. I won't mention it anymore, don't be angry. Qin Yancy borrowed the charcoal fire, and Yang Sisi waited for the water to boil before cooking noodles. After eating, they washed themselves and went back to their rooms to rest. The next day, Yang Sisi sent the old lady's luggage back to the new house and put it away, then came back to pick up the old lady for a tour of the ancient city. They played outside all morning and sent the old lady home after noon. The old lady has lived alone for decades. Suddenly there were neighbors on the left and right, which was very new. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 248. The place you found for me is quite nice. The view from the back window is wide and there is smoke and smoke. The little kitchen in the house is just what I want. I fell in love with this place at first glance. You can also see the scenery in the front. In the bathroom area, the floor here is made of cement, which is not slippery even if it gets wet. I came up with the idea of the little chef. He said the pot it was unhygienic to leave the bowls and pans outside, so I put them on a shelf in the house. I was worried that you might be poisoned by burning charcoal, so I opened vents in the wall and covered them with gauze to prevent dust and insects. The old lady nodded approvingly. You are serious about it? Yang Sisi settled the old lady and gave the gifts she bought in advance to the neighbors, hoping that they would take more care of the old lady. The neighbors received small gifts and were very talkative. They responded one after another. Yang Sisi told the old lady to pay attention to her safety, and then she left with peace of mind. When I got home, I cleaned up the house and turned on the TV. Take a break on time after dark. I slept until midnight when I heard a knock on the door and turned on the light to check. Qin Yanxi appeared at the door, wearing silver-rimmed glasses and a smile on his lips. "Sci, are you waiting for me on a special trip?" Yang Sisi thought to herself. She put on her glasses and changed her title. Crazy, right? Didn't you say you live in a courtyard house? I don't want to live anymore. When he woke up today, he found that he was an hour later than before. I don't know what method that guy used to squeeze away his time. He read the other party's message. In addition to the experience during this period, he finally mentioned Sisi and scolded him for being a shameless fake and stealing other people's wives. He had always been worried that the other party would be angry with Sisi. Unexpectedly, I just scolded him. Very good. Yang Sisi was speechless. Qin Yanxi's sharp eyes spotted two photos on the TV cabinet. One was him holding Sisi, and the other was that guy and Sisi. The other party actually agreed to let her put the photo in the living room. By the way, the photo he took is really good. Sisi, do you think it's better for me to wear glasses or not wear them? Yang Sisi was going crazy. Even if she was crazy, there was no need to keep asking questions like this. Praise him, lest he get angry. Wear it well, ACI, I'm a little sleepy, you can do it yourself. Qin Yanxi stepped forward and hugged her waist. Don't you wait for me. Yang Sisi raised her eyes and looked at him. She was a little too enthusiastic today. She wasn't going to play with her like last time, was she? If he dares to play tricks on her, even if she knows that he is crazy, she won't get used to it. She found pajamas for him to change into. Qin Yanxi touched the fabric, which was not there last time. For that person? He doesn't want what others wear left over. Buy me a new one. Yang Sisi, isn't it enough to wear two clothes? There was really nothing she could do about it. Okay. You can find out what to wear yourself. She climbed into bed and continued to sleep. Qin Yanxi was looking for the clothes he had worn and found a cloth bag on the partition. Have never seen it before. Is it something prepared for that person? He opens it. A tangy fragrance. Petals. Sisi, what kind of flower is this? It smells so good. Yang Sisi looked at him strangely. Psychiatric patients only have different preferences. Can the sense of smell also change? And also lost his memory. When you wear glasses, can't you remember things? Her heart was beating fast, and she always felt that he was too weird, not like a psycho, but like a ghost. She remained calm at first. Ji Xianghua, didn't you say it smells bad? Hearing this, Qin Yanxi quickly threw the petals away. It really smells bad. It makes me have a headache. Sisi, take it as far away as possible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 249. Yang Sisi, what on earth is going on? She got out of bed good-naturedly, tied the mouth of the flour bag tightly, stuffed it into the bottom of the cabinet, closed the cabinet door and still kept whispering, "Is this okay?" Okay. Qin Yanxi put on his clothes and went into the bathroom. Ying Sisi fell asleep again, and just as she was feeling sleepy, an extra hand appeared on her waist to tug at the hem of her clothes. "ACI, it's very late." Ying Sisi turned around to face him helplessly. "Can you do it tomorrow?" After the sound fell, the young man withdrew his arms and put his hands under his head to look at her. Being more delicate than flowers, clearer than the moon. If only he had been tougher, she would have been his tonight. "Let's do it tomorrow. There is no rush for this day. SISI, you seem to have lost weight." The person left a message saying that Shen Yuki was her biological father, and she was upset about it. "Really? Maybe I'm tired from studying shampoo." Ying Sisi turned off the light and couldn't fall asleep no matter how she closed her eyes. "ACI, I don't seem to be sleepy anymore." "Are you sleepy?" Qin Yanxi felt that he had been sleeping for a long time before he saw her. He was so overwhelmed that he couldn't sleep either. "I'm not sleepy." "How about we have a child?" Ying Sisi, I clearly said I didn't want it before, but now I want it again. Can you give a clear attitude?" She asked with certainty. "You won't regret it tomorrow, will you?" Qin Yanxi thought over and over what she meant and thought that the man had discussed it with her and said he didn't want children. If she is pregnant, will the other party force her to have an abort based on her temper? Thinking of this, he said, "It's better not to give it up." "You want to play now and then not, are you kidding me? Go to sleep." Ying Sisi raised her foot and kicked him. Qin Yanxi was caught off guard and rolled over on the ground. Sound. It fell hard. Ying Sisi was so frightened that she quickly turned on the light. Qin Yanxi got up from the ground in embarrassment, his face slightly red with shame and anger. "How can you beat your husband? Rebellion." "Where did you fall?" Ying Sisi jumped out of bed and lifted his clothes. "Are you hurt?" Qin Yanxi looked at her panicked expression, and the little anger in his heart immediately dissipated. "No. I'll rub it for you." Ying Sisi stretched out her hand and put it on his back. Qin Yanxi felt evil fire in her heart. He took a deep breath and hugged her. Ying Sisi's body was suddenly suspended in the air. She exclaimed and wrapped her arms around his neck reflexively. "ACI, what are you doing?" "You'll find out later." Ying Sisi, it can't be what she thinks, right? She lowered her head shyly. When he put him down, he found that his palms were a little red and swollen. "Did you hit the palm of your hand just now?" Qin Yanxi's eyes flashed. He didn't know where the redness and swelling came from. It was there when he woke up. Perhaps it has something to do with his late awakening. "This time I was squeezed out for an hour, next time it will be 2 hours. If we let it go, wouldn't it be that long before he disappears completely? He must take measures to seize control of his body." "Hey, there is a wooden thorn in the palm of your hand. Don't you feel pain?" "I feel numb," Qin Yanxi said. Ying Sisi took out the needle and alcohol, disinfected it and gently picked out the wooden thorn in his palm. There was more than one thorn in his hand. She cleaned his hands and looked around. There was no wood that could hurt his hand. "Did he do it outside?" "Sisi," Qin Yan called her politely. Ying Sisi raised her head and looked at him, and the atmosphere between the two gradually became ambiguous. The midday sun shines into the room, bringing a little warmth. Ying Sisi opened her eyes. The people around her were still sleeping. Her eyes were so tired that she could hardly open them. She relaxed for a long time before recovering. She stretched out her hand to push him. "ACI, don't you have to report to the teacher's house today?" Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 250. In the middle of the night, the two of them barely slept. It was almost dawn before he agreed to rest. It turned out that he was not like this. He is very restrained about that kind of thing. This time it was like an old house on fire, out of control, and his movements were much rougher than usual, and rampant, just like the first time. She was a little confused. I don't know what's wrong, I feel empty in my heart. I always feel that I am not very willing to be with him this time. Don't be in a hurry, Qin Yancy said, coming close to her face and pecking her. Ceci, you are so beautiful, she said with satisfaction, give me a son. After thinking about it, I still want a child. Yang Ceci really wanted to kick him again. I don't want a son. A daughter can do it, but a daughter can't do it. What if she looks like me? I'll give birth to a son who will look like you. Yang Ceci hums, sometimes it works, sometimes not. Annoying spirit. She withdrew from his arms, lifted the quilt and got out of bed. You can think about it later. Qin Yancy stared at her. Are you visiting grandma today? The man said. A few days ago, they went back to their hometown to visit the grave of their mother-in-law, and brought back a grandma. He was going to meet her and express their feelings. Don't let that guy take over everything. We just met yesterday, let's do it tomorrow. Yang Ceci took her clothes and went to the next room to change. After getting dressed, she went out. Qin Yancy was also dressed neatly. Ceci, why don't you use my money to buy a house? He just looked at his bank book. Hardly moving. In other words, she bought the house herself. That guy is still taking advantage of her these days. Shameless people. There is no need for the moment. ACI, we have been back for 2 or 3 days, and you stayed with me in my hometown for more than 10 days. In total, you haven't seen your teacher for more than half a month. Go and have a look. Well, lest the old man say that you drifted away after being admitted to college. Yang Ceci is also planning to go to the courtyard. Hello to my father-in-law and mother-in-law. After all, Qin Yan resigned and went back. If she never showed up, there was no guarantee that Lu Yuechun wouldn't take the opportunity to say bad things about her. Mother-in-law's ears are soft. After hearing what Lu Yuechun said, it's time to have a prejudice against her. Qin Yancy agreed, okay. The two of them had a meal outside and separated. Yang Ceci rode her car back to the courtyard. Lu Yuechun was taking her children to sit in the yard to bask in the sun when she saw Yang Ceci coming. It seemed as if nothing unpleasant had happened. She greeted her warmly, Ceci, I haven't seen you for a while. I spent half a year in Yanjing, are you still used to living in your hometown? I'm used to wherever I am. Yang Ceci went straight into her room. The quilt on the bed was in a mess. The railing at the head of the bed was broken, and she immediately thought of the wooden thorn in his palm. He was injured here, right? What is he doing at home? The head of the bed was broken off. Yang Ceci walked around and found a small piece of paper dust falling on the ground. Burning paper in the room. There seems to be some words on it. Worried that it would be broken, she squatted down to identify it like this. Only saw the word fake. Is ACI's handwriting? The door is locked. Only she and ACI have the key to the room. Did ACI burn the letter himself? She read the letter again. Notice that the sentence break above is the dot. When he doesn't wear glasses, he just uses them. Wear glasses, use standard symbols. This letter was written by ACI without glasses, or burned by ACI with glasses. Psychologists don't do things that others can't understand, right? After Yang Ceci made the bed, locked the door and went straight into the largest hospital in Yanjing.